Yo, yo, yo. Word, homie. You know who it is. No, you don't. My name's Dakota. It's time for that new 5 Seconds of Summer Sounds Good, Feels Good review. 5 Seconds of Summer. Was amped for this album. May or may not need an intro on these blokes. Australian group of teenagers, pop punk, power pop music. Came about a year and a half ago after getting some success and viral fame on YouTube with different covers and stuff. Eventually got signed to Capitol Records, dropped a debut album last year in July, I think, which was actually one of my favorite, if not my favorite, mainstream release of the year. Incredible amount of replay for me. Lasted for months in the rotation. Just really like these guys. I like their approach to pop punk music, but yet with a very accessible appeal to it. Kind of revamping, if you will, the era of like Fall Out Boy and Hawthorne Heights. They've kind of stepped up and taken the gauntlet of pop punk and said, we're going to be the new face of pop punk since it's a genre that faded out about 5 years ago. We want to bring it back. We're going to step in. We're going to be the main guys, and not only that, we're going to have mainstream success with it. And this is going to be, that's what we're going to do. And they just came in like a bull in a china shop with that. They dropped their sophomore album today. Sounds good, feels good. I've been listening to it for 12 hours, and that's the only thing I've listened to for the past 12 hours. Crazy as that sounds, but I really wanted to make sure I give this thing a good listen, especially since it's a band I really like. Really compare it to the other album, get some solid thoughts on it together. So let's talk about this new Five Sauce album. This album kicks off with the song Money, which sounds like something straight out of All Time Low's playbook. And I know they received help on this song, along with a handful of other songs on this album from some of their influences. You have a couple guys from Good Charlotte helping them out. You have one of the members from Goldfinger, which was a really popular ska punk band back in the late 90s. And you've also got one of the guys from All Time Low helping them out on a different track. So their influences definitely come through in this album all over the place, and sometimes in a good way. Sometimes it sounds like it's just a ripoff and it doesn't go over as well as it should. Some of the songs I'm talking about when I say that is Permanent Vacation, which is just American Idiot 101, basically. Very much Green Day influence on that. Jet Black Heart has a little bit of, some Silverstein-esque guitar tones on it. The song Safety Pin, which could have been pulled off very well by Every Avenue or something like that. And when I say that, those are mainly the songs that I'm talking about. Not only that, but with the two tracks back-to-back, She's Kinda Hot and Hey Everybody. Both of these songs really, with the acoustic intro, give me like a Sugar Ray feel, in all honesty. She's Kinda Hot is not a song that I was crazy about at first, but it really grows on you. Well, at least it does me. I actually enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the Hey Everybody track, not as much as She's Kinda Hot at this point, I don't think. Here's kind of where the error is in these two tracks, is they are so similar. They're in the same key. They're about the same tempo. They use some of the same guitar tones. And putting these two tracks back to back like this, especially this early on in the album, I really don't think that was that smart of a move. I like the pianos and some of the other instruments that have a lo-fi sound effect on them in the song Catch Fire. When you start to kind of move toward the end of the first fourth of the album, because I'm reviewing the Deluxe Target Edition, which has 19 tracks, and that's a lot. I mean, that's like 5 minutes of summer. That's a lot of music to take on. But where this album really starts to pick up the head of steam is with the song Waste the Night. I just want to brag on this song for a little bit. Waste the Night is, first of all, it starts out with guitar tones and rhythms and chords that sound very similar to The Cure's Friday I'm in Love, but then it ventures off into just a really nice, gorgeous ballad. My favorite song on their last album was Beside You, which I thought was just a great ballad. It was like rocking, but at the same time was very pretty. And I was hoping for more moments like this on this album. And I get, a few songs that are kind of like Beside You, and Waste the Night is the primary one, though. And Waste the Night is just beautiful, especially when, most of there's just some really, undefined and filtered bass notes that kind of sound like, kind of like hip-hop 808s a little bit, coming through there, and how it just hovers around the root note to become very trance-like and very pretty. And the song, kudos to 5 Seconds of Summer for kind of taking a little bit of a musical risk, not really in the broad spectrum of things, but with a mainstream album and an audience that's going to have such a short attention span, putting a switch up in there, because once the main part of the song ends, there's a little bit of silence, and then it goes into this instrumental breakdown that lasts for about 35-40 seconds, and it's just so lush and so spacey and pretty. And I actually was kind of wishing that this would have either, one, lasted longer, or two, take that and make it its own track. Draw that out to a minute and a half, 2 minutes, because it was really pretty. There were a lot of nice little ambient effects thrown in there, and I loved it. The next track, you have another ballad, Vapor. They put them back to back, and they just sound really good together. They both fit really well, and that little instrumental interlude between the two helps them kind of transition. The song Castaway, a nice, booming pop punk song. The Girl Who Cried Wolf, Broken Home, and then we have one of the more upbeat songs coming in again, Fly Away. Then it goes back down to Invisible. And for the most part, though, a lot of these songs that are the core in the middle of this deluxe album, and the part of the album that I really enjoy, just the top of that bell curve, most of these songs, I learned, are not on the standard edition of the album. Like The Girl Who Cried Wolf and Safety Pin and Broken Home. Those are songs that you could have used with this album, because the way this album closes off, after Invisible kicks in, when you have Airplanes, San Francisco, and Outer Space Carry On, from then the album just takes a dive into just pop punk and punk, emo-y cliches. I just lose interest until it comes to the last track, Story of Another Us, which caught my attention a little bit more. But if you have the regular version of the album, you're not going to be hearing that track. Though all in all, I did enjoy a lot of this album. I was kind of hesitant, being that the only songs that I really heard from this were Hey Everybody, Fly Away, Money, She's Kinda Hot, and they all kind of hovered around the same area sonically, and I was like, oh man, I hope this just isn't an album of just the same song over and over and over. And in a couple spots it was. You had 2 or 3 back-to-back that'd be very similar. And I really think overall, the clarity of production on this thing was amped up a little bit. The tightness of their playing they are so much more together than they were on this last album. I wish some of the drumming was a little bit louder from Ashton, because Ashton is just wailing away on this album, which I really love. So I could have used more of the drums in the production. But overall, really not a terrible sophomore album. A lot better than I had anticipated, in all honesty. A C+ on this album. It does sound good, and for the most part, it does feel good. But anyway, if there's anything else you guys want to review, stay tuned for the City in Color, If You Leave Me Before I Go. Is that album title right? Anyway, I'm going to review that too as well. I know it's a little bit late. It's been busy. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Bam. Swag. Oh. Flex. Shooters.